What's up, everybody? Welcome to the BrewCrew channel. My name is Hayden Brewer. In today's video, we'll be going over the predictions, or going over my predictions, I should say, for the Elimination Chamber this Saturday as we continue our road to WrestleMania, the final PLE before WrestleMania 41. Before we get into the video, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe if you're new, and hit the notification bell as I try to post wrestling content and also a little bit of football content as well. Now with that out of the way, let's get into the video. Our first match we're going to look at is the Women's Elimination Chamber match, which features Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, and Bayley. Now in this match, my prediction has kind of changed a little bit of who I want winning this. It was kind of going in to be Liv Morgan. I did actually think a little bit of Alexa Bliss, but Alexa Bliss, just returning, don't know if WWE would have her instantly go after a women's championship right as she comes back to the WWE. So I don't think it would be a move that they would do. So Liv was kind of one of my tops, and I know really it is kind of bummed out because I talked about it before. Of course, Io Sky not being in this, the winner would face Rhea Ripley or Io Sky. Of course, it would be next Monday night, the big women's championship match between Io and Rhea. I still feel like there has to be some sort of way Io could go in, but my favorite has kind of changed a little bit as this past Monday Night Raw, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez would go on to win the WWE Women's Tag Team titles against Bianca Belair and Naomi. So this kind of changes stuff that happens because also the Jade Cargill situation with her being attacked by a mystery attacker and people thinking it was either Bianca or Naomi potentially could be Naomi because they could potentially lead into Bianca winning. Bianca going to WrestleMania and then potentially a WrestleMania match between Naomi and Jade Cargill, but that's just for the future and potentially after. But I'm kind of still thinking it could be Liv and her just go in as one half of the women's tag champs. I know that probably won't really look good for the women's tag team titles, but it's either her or Bianca Belair because with the other women, you have Bayley and Roxanne Perez, who, of course, are having a little rivalry thing that could set up a WrestleMania match of sorts, potentially. Roxanne Perez being the young superstar coming out of NXT, having this big rivalry with Bayley. Definitely a bright future for her, because I really do think she has a really good future ahead of her for the main roster, especially as well. But then, of course, there's Naomi as well, with, of course, her being involved a little bit with the stuff with Jade Cargill. So it's definitely up and down a little bit with who I want winning this, of course, after what happened on Monday Night Raw with the main event, with Liv and Raquel winning the women's tag titles. So I still kind of think Liv might pull it out, but I actually would not be sad if Bianca potentially comes out as well as the victor. Our next match, staying on the women's division a little bit, over on SmackDown, a women's tag team match. Trish Stratus returning, of course, to the ring, returning to Canada, teaming up with the WWE Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton, facing the team of Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. So I know a lot of people definitely are not happy really about this match going like this. I thought they were either probably going to go Trish versus Tiffany because it's in Canada and Trish from Canada and all that. So they probably would have done something like that, and it would have been big for Tiffany Stratton going into WrestleMania against Charlotte, beating a big name, a Hall of Fame name in Trish Stratus in her home country, in her hometown in Canada. But they've kind of switched a little bit to a tag team match, which I kind of didn't really be bothered by a little bit. But the only thing I can say is that I feel like Tiffany and Trish are going to win. But really, for them to win, you really kind of need Tiffany Stratton to pin Nia Jax. Because, I mean, you either do that or you do a random women's championship match on, like, the next SmackDown. and you finally get Tiffany Stratton to have a clean victory against Nia Jax. Then, of course, would lead in. Now, I don't know what this would do to, of course, the lead up to Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. I really don't know. I hope it really does help a little bit with Tiffany Stratton, but of course, like, she goes from being a big time heel to, of course, now turned sort of babyface, trying to push her, but not as like the babyface as we would think mostly, but her kind of being like an underdog to Charlotte Flair instead of it kind of being like new generation versus old generation. It's mostly like Charlotte Flair being, of course, the queen, what her character is, and mostly saying like she wants the title. It should not be on Tiffany Stratton. So it's definitely interesting to see how they go with this storyline between Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte going into WrestleMania after Elimination Chamber. So we'll just have to see. Now, probably would be in the middle point, but I don't know where this would be. The Rock and Cody segment. Now, kind of lost, don't know how to really explain this, but this past Friday night on Friday night SmackDown, we had probably one of the weirdest promos I've ever watched, mostly because it was long by The Rock, because he first came out, was talking to the crowd, it was in New Orleans, and he was announcing, of course, WrestleMania 42 to be live in New Orleans, which I'm definitely excited about. But then, of course, he calls out Cody Rhodes, and he just takes so long to look like he's just like, yeah, we're friends, we've known each other for so long, we're friends now. And then finally he gets into like what he really is wanting. So he mostly is just like saying he wants Cody to be on his side to be his champion, not like the people's champion. And then he goes on to say probably one of the craziest lines that I've probably ever heard in a promo, saying that he wants Cody's soul. What? I was mostly confused and shocked of what the heck was happening, and of course Cody made, of course, a memeable confusion look of like what the frick happened and what the heck. Like Rock went full on Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat saying, I want your soul. Like, well, okay. So he said, I would give you until Elimination Chamber to make your decision. And then, of course, we had a really good promo between Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins coming out. Seth Rollins was part of the men's chamber, which we'll get into that later on. Comes out, of course, mostly wanting to focus on his chamber match this Saturday. Comes out and is talking to Cody and is mostly saying, like, I can't believe you are actually, like, pondering this. Like, the guy who we faced at WrestleMania defeated us in night one, but we were able to stop him from preventing you to win this championship. And mostly becoming Cody's shield again like he was last year at WrestleMania 40. So it is definitely very interesting now, of course, after the horrible promo that we freaking watched. But it was just a horrible promo, but like the outcome of it is definitely like, or like what the meaning of the promo, I'm trying to think of a word, but like the meaning or whatever about the promo, like the message from the promo definitely has still stuck. And it is still going to suck leading up to Elimination Chamber. So they're having a little segment. I don't know. Please do not be 40 plus freaking minutes. So we'll just have to see. I don't know what's going to happen. I definitely think it's going to be Cody saying no. But then that leads into like a chain of like different events potentially happening going into WrestleMania, mostly of course with the Chamber being the winner goes to face Cody at WrestleMania. So it's like, what does The Rock have in store if Cody says no? And like, what does he have in store if Cody says yes? Like, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens, and definitely can't wait for it. Now, the next match I want to talk about, I kind of wanted to save this for last, but it's a match that I feel like it should be the main event of Elimination Chamber. That is Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn in an unsanctioned match. Another match, of course, in this really historic rivalry between these two, but this match is very much different than their other matches that they've had with each other. Because, of course, what happened at the Rumble, what happened after the Rumble with Kevin Owens attacking Sami Zayn and hitting the package pile driver, and, of course, just had the obsession with Cody Rhodes of trying to get after that WWE Championship. Now, of course, upset with Sami Zayn that Sami did nothing in that ladder match. Of course, has now led to this unsanctioned match. Both men are not 100% in this match, so it's going to be definitely a full-on war. Both men are definitely going to try to kill each other after what happened. I don't know if there's going to be any involvement. People are saying maybe Randy Orton will get involved because he still has not returned. Potentially could return to go after Kevin Owens, as it was Kevin Owens who put Randy Orton on the shelf for so many years, hitting a pile driver on him. So don't know if it's going to be it during the match. I know I've heard a lot of people say they don't want any like interference in this match, but like no interference. Probably like if Randy does come back, like have him come back like after the match, which mostly of course leads into who I think would win. I kind of was leaning towards Sami Zayn winning it because it's Sami Zayn. I just had the feeling that he could pull it out, but looking back at it and thinking about it, Kevin Owens definitely needs this win. Like, he needs this win to get some big momentum going into WrestleMania, as he's been on a pretty losing streak. Like, he could win, and then after the match, he's probably tries to do more damage to Sami Zayn or something, and then Randy Orton comes out or something. His music plays, or he comes out of the crowd or something. So what does that mostly mean for Sami Zayn? It could lead up something, of course, with Karrion Kross, as, of course, we know there's been stuff going on between them two as well backstage a little bit on Monday Night Raw. So it's definitely interesting to see what they do with him, because really Karrion Kross has been really underrated these past couple months, even though he hasn't really done much in-ring work. Ever since after the stuff with the Wyatt Six with him, and of course with AOP and Paul Ellering being released from WWE and it just being him and Scarlett, it's definitely showing us more again with the old Karrion Kross that we used to see in NXT. So I'm definitely looking forward to see what they do with Karrion Kross. But back to the match, I feel like Kevin Owens would win it. Maybe after the match we see Randy Orton come back, thus setting up potentially a WrestleMania match between Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. Alright, so we got the final match of the video, the final match that could be the main event. If not the main event, it doesn't really matter. Could be one of the main events. I honestly also won't be shocked if Cody and Rock is the main event, because it's The Rock. But the men's Elimination Chamber match, which will feature CM Punk, John Cena, Seth Rollins, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, and Logan Paul. A pretty stacked Elimination Chamber with some pretty big names, and this one's definitely kind of like what I was talking about, kind of like with my Royal Rumble predictions. I don't know who I have winning this. Like, I'm kind of down to really two people, and that's CM Punk and John Cena, who were a part of my predicted winners for the Royal Rumble. But I feel like it has to be one of those two, because of course John Cena with his retirement tour, but then also CM Punk, because he's definitely had so much momentum, but it's either I feel like this chamber is going to lead to either Cena versus Logan Paul or CM Punk versus Logan Paul, or someone versus Logan Paul in this freaking chamber. If not, we will just have to see. But I feel like it should be John Cena, because I feel like John Cena could definitely be perfect for Cody Rhodes. But it's also with The Rock being involved now, it's okay, what's going to happen now with the Elimination Chamber winner? It could be Drew McIntyre, and Drew McIntyre aligns himself with The Rock to go after the WWE Championship. It could be Punk, and Punk could turn back heel, joining The Rock, who, of course, a former rival and all that, has a lot of history with The Rock. He joins The Rock so he can go after. He also still has that favor from Paul Heyman. I don't think Seth Rollins would win, because I feel like Roman Reigns is going to get involved, which will set up him versus Rollins at WrestleMania, which I really want because I love both Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, and I really would like to see these two battle it out at WrestleMania. Damian Priest, I mean, he's definitely had a lot of momentum. Of course, like, he's still kind of being all over the place a little bit on SmackDown with how he's being booked and all that, and how his character is being. Logan Paul, I definitely don't think is going to win because it's Logan Paul. And like I said before, Drew McIntyre is a good possibility to win. I mean, could definitely be interested to see like how it fares for him winning and then going on to WrestleMania, potentially maybe joining The Rock or something. So yeah, that's kind of like how I feel about this chamber match. It's definitely going to be a big chamber match, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how this match turns out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the paper I used. Okay. So with that out of the way, all right, with that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely hope you guys are also looking forward to Elimination Chamber. Comment down below your guys' predictions for it and what y'all think about my predictions. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing, of course, on the road to WrestleMania. Yeah, it's going to just be a wild, wild road. So, again, with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, and, of course, again, hit the notification bell so you can be updated for the future videos on the channel. And with that out of the way, see you guys in the next video.